Even though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare, they are not carnal, but they mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, which includes casting down imaginations. You remember that in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 to 5. 2 Corinthians 10, 3 to 5. That means the stronghold of our warfare is in the mind. Though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare, they are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 1, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity, bringing every thought to the obedience of Christ. Every thought. Now can you see, we're talking about our stronghold, the stronghold of our warfare. He said imaginations, high thing, high logics that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity, bringing down every thought that is dealing with the thoughts, so you can secure your heights in God. It's so important. It's so important. Do you know why some people can't just prosper in Nigeria? They already have concluded it is impossible to make it work here. They go through every means, wherever they got their mentality from, they go through every means to escape from the country, not knowing they're escaping from frying pan to fire. And they become miserable individuals. Their lives lose value. Just everything that has happened to them, the entirety of the accident, begins from the mind. The weapons of our warfare, they are to be directed first and foremost in dealing with the thoughts issue, casting down imaginations, bringing down every philosophy of men, and bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. That's the core of our warfare. That's the core of our warfare. So it's time to say, I curse you, evil thought, when it's trying to rear up his ugly head, that it doesn't matter. In Nigerian context, this is the only way to do business. I curse you, evil thought. I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to sell off my birthright. It's too precious. It's time to talk loud to yourself. He said, when your obedience is fulfilled, you will avenge all disobedience. The church is yet to pay full attention to this dimension of our warfare. Until we win the war of the mind, we cannot win the war of life. It begins from the mind. The weapons of our warfare are to be directed first and foremost to the ongoings in our mind. First and foremost to the ongoings in our mind. Until you overcome within, you cannot be an overcomer without. Your mind is the battlefield of your life. The weapons of our warfare must first be directed to the issues, to the ongoings in the mind. And when we overcome within, we become overcomers indeed. Can I hear your amen? Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought. Bringing into what? Captivity. That is, capture every thought, compel it to obey Christ. Capture every evil thought and bring it into subjection to Christ. No, because he said this. I see you leading captivity captive this week. I said, I see you leading captivity captivity captive this week. I see you leading 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 captivity captive this week. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought. I like you to underline that word in verse 5. Every thought. Bringing into captivity every thought. Until you arrest the thoughts, you remain under arrest. You have to arrest that thought before you can be free from your arrest. Until you arrest that evil thought, you remain under the arrest of his wickedness. But today there is liberty. Can I hear your loud amen? Can I hear your loud amen?